Ceramics was my first love. Itself is that we equally have as much control over each other. Creating pieces for other people to find their own spirituality, and I think that's why people resonate with my work. I think of chain as community because we're all interlinked. Being a successful artist is making what you feel versus what you think other people will like.
We are here with Whitney Sharpe. She opened the doors for us today. And we're going to meet not only her as an artist, but her work as well. Thanks for having us. Thanks for opening the door to us.
I grew up in a rural town in Michigan, and the land was formed by a glacier.
Yes.
So there's naturally occurring clay there. And I grew up on a lake, and behind the lake was a huge forest. And I was always obsessed with the idea of mermaids and fairies, and I was in sort of a fairy tale of my own doing. And I found a clay pit. And so my first memory of clay is making a mermaid and putting it in the trees for the fairies to find as a gift.
Oh my God. That's a beautiful story.
In high school, I had an incredible instructor who really took me under her wing, but ceramics wasn't cool. And now ceramics is cool. So
What do you mean it wasn't cool?
It wasn't. It was like, people weren't interested in it. People were interested in photography or painting, and ceramics, I just always felt a natural inclination to do it. And when I was in college, I studied textiles, and then I had a minor in ceramics. I never thought that I would be able to and make a living by making ceramic work.
Become an artist.
Yes, because there's an interesting thing with utility that, and especially as a woman, the craft, whether it's embroidery or making clothes or making a cup to drink from, it's less revered than a painting because of that utility. So a lot of my work is inspired by mythology. I traditionally work with different variation on silhouettes. If you look at, say, this piece,
yes,
then I take that silhouette, and then I'll do something a little bit different. So there's variation, like this has a ruffle, this has this. But, I listen to the clay. All of these divots that you see on the vessels are my thumb.
Yeah, they're your fingerprints. Wow. It's very interesting to me. It's like you use a lot of chain. What do you want to express? It's just like a connection. It's a tie. It's a restriction.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about it.
I think of chain as community because we're all interlinked. And the thing about community is that it's beautiful and it's strong, but it also limits you. People have understanding of, like your family has an understanding of you, but then your friends have a separate understanding, right?
Yes.
And that perspective maybe sometimes is limiting because you have different things inside of you that you're not fully articulating because of that linkage.
A lot of your pieces, they have a language of ceremonies. Can you tell us about where do they come from? Or what are they?
Yeah.
What are their intention?
Yes, I was raised Catholic in a very strict Catholic family, and now I'm no longer practicing Catholic, but I think that ritual that I was taught to pray with is part of my own spirituality now. So creating pieces for other people to find their own spirituality. And I think that's why people resonate with my work, is because it's an invitation for an individual to find their own practice within ritual. I'm obsessive, and that is why I have so much work. But I learned in Aix-en-Provence that Picasso always had 5 paintings at least going at once. If I start building a piece, I can't finish it in the same day, but I can start a new piece, and then another, and then another. And then by the time I'm finished with the third, the first one is ready to work on again. That's how I have so many pieces. I think my relationship with clay itself is that we equally have as much control over each other. It's a conversation, truly. Just like any relationship or business, you have to have a solid foundation. So I build a little bit thicker. Clay has to be the right consistency. I need to tell the clay that we're going up. Ceramics was my first love. Fibers was my second.
I, as a designer, get influenced by a lot of other designers.
Me too.
And other artists. And one of the purpose of this series is that when I visit an artist like you, I'm learning from you. This is like I'm stealing.
Right, but
I'm trying to get who you are. How do you create? And so it's like a learning experience for me. So
right.
This is something that I'm being fed with.
Right, and I think that it's very important to share. Like, going back to cooking, I would rather share my recipes than keep them. When I first started the vessels, before I had the vessels, I made sort of wall hangings and jewelry because I didn't believe that people would be interested in larger scale pieces.
Yeah.
I just wanted to focus on form and not be confused by color. And then I started getting bored with that. And, I usually dress in all black or blue, deep colors, but I think that it's important to have something that is striking. And I love blue. And I love chartreuse, and metallic. So I try to approach it with restraint because there are so many options, and just choosing what I actually resonate with. I'm not focusing so much on jewelry anymore. It's not fulfilling to make something so tiny, and I think, forcing my work symbolically something small and digestible, it's not worth it. Like, you have to take the leap. I'd rather focus my energy here. This is a piece that's in progress. I lost my brother-in-law, and it was his birthday, and we had a complicated relationship, family is complicated. Yeah. And I was thinking about him as I was working on this piece, and it collapsed because clay is very sensitive, right? So it collapsed into itself, and I was like, of course, I'm thinking about you, and it collapsed. So I invited
energy or whatever to come and rescue
So this is what happened. And then I made this second piece, and so I would eventually like to connect them together. So every time I'm feeling a little uninspired, I just let myself play. And these shapes and forms come out, and it's interesting that they look like bones, and because that's what clay is, time compressed into material. So eventually I'll add these all together.
With the chains. Here come, oh my God, beautiful.
Right? And then these two pieces will be together. And I'd like to have a solo show, but I guess I have to make the work before I can do. This is actually my altar. This is for
you
both.
have Palo Santo.
See?
Okay.
And I have a peach pit. very outside of Catholicism, but this is me connecting to my ancestors because I think that we are all here because they helped us be here. This is a way to honor them. These are all offerings for them. This is the eye of awareness that I made, and to remember that lightness is possible.
That's the other.
Yes, and this is for prosperity. There's separate containers for them. This is what I offer them. This is what they've offered me. Palo Santo is traditionally cleansing. And the peach pit was just sort of an offering of nutrition.
Is this something that I would imagine evolves with time, or what you're going through? Or...
Yeah, sometimes I put fresh flowers in there. But I think it's really important to have a separation between what I offer them and what they offer me. I've always been interested in ancestry.
Yes.
So on the bottom here, there's very specific
scalps, what are...
Right, from my thumb. Yeah. And when I was making it, I was considering all of the generations that I know. And then it's sort of...
So it's like a tree of life. I mean, it's like your family ancestor.
Of who I know. Yeah. And then up here is who I don't know, but who are still there. Because in the body, we hold...
DNAs.
Right.
And information from all of them.
Right. So it's an homage to them, really. And then I have Scottish and Irish descent as well, and I didn't realize that this looked almost Celtic. But then once it came out, I saw sort of a Celtic... Anyway.
It came out.
Yeah, it came out. And, as an American...
And it came out, and I bet it's just that's when the DNA appears,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So being devoid of culture as an American, I feel that it's important to sort of, I don't know how to say, investigate how you feel and what you resonate with. Last year, I had my first gallery show in New York, and walking the city and then coming up to the gallery and seeing my work in the window was pretty incredible. And then another time, a friend of mine who's an art handler, he was moving someone's collection. And, I send my work to galleries. I don't know who buys it. Maybe I should change that. But he was moving a collection out of Miami. I won't say the collector's name, but he messaged me and he was like, I'm moving your art. This is huge. And I had no idea. And this collector has work from all over the world. So that was pretty special. My whole life, I wanted to be an artist. And when I really center and get quiet within myself,
yes,
I remember, I've made it this far. I left my small town. I live in one of the most expensive places in the US, and I'm able to make it work. You can't give up now, and if you give up now, then...
You lost the whole war.
Yeah. The part of being a successful artist is making what you feel versus what you think other people will like. So dive within yourself, dig deep for your own creativity, and don't give up.
From earth and fire, Whitney shapes more than just subjects. She shapes experiences and moments. Her art invites us to pause, to reflect, and to reconnect. They carry meaning, evoke memory, and awaken something sacred within, guiding us to spaces for ritual and inner presence. This is the world we came to uncover.